Hello everyone, this is POW Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about Hurricane Iota, now forecasted to be a Category 4 at landfall in Nicaragua and Honduras, the same areas that got impacted by Iota just 2 weeks ago, early Tuesday morning. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel, as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family that may be in the path of Iota. So let's kind of delve into the details. Here is the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center as of 7 a.m. Eastern time. It is now an 85-mile-per-hour hurricane. It has made the turn to the west, and now it's making the turn west northwest. It's only moving at 6 miles an hour, so this has really got its act together overnight, and now it's propagating west northwestward. It's expected to be a hurricane, a stronger hurricane, a 110-mile-per-hour hurricane later on this afternoon, and this will beeline west northwestward, upgrading to a 125-mile-per-hour major hurricane by tomorrow afternoon, and then still continuing to strengthen as a Category 4, making landfall, unfortunately, in pretty much the same exact areas that Iota made landfall just 2 weeks ago. This will be actually 13 days apart, since it's expected to make landfall somewhere in the neighborhood of between midnight and 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning. This will continue westward inland, dropping down to a hurricane, even down to 70 miles an hour inward, then moving further inland, impacting Nicaragua and Honduras inward, and then dropping down to a depression, impacting El Salvador, Guatemala, and getting into Belize by early Thursday morning. So let's go over the latest from the latest advisory as of 7 a.m. This is Iota continues to rapidly strengthen and expected to bring potentially catastrophic winds and life-threatening storm surge and rainfall impacts to Central America. Is now down to a 982 millibar hurricane, and hurricane force winds extend outward to 25 miles, and tropical storm force winds extend out to 90 miles. So I do expect these to expand as Iota continues to strengthening. Right now, the forecasted storm surge is very dangerous. Water level rise of 9 to 13 feet just from storm surge, on top of all the rainfall that is expected. Here's what you can expect from Hurricane Iota for between now and Thursday in these areas: Honduras, northern Nicaragua, Guatemala, southern Belize, 8 to 16 inches of rainfall. Maximum totals of 20 to 30 inches. This is the same exact areas that got 20 to 30 inches just 2 weeks ago. So I can only imagine the combination of storm surge and another 20 to 30 inches of rain will do to this area. Costa Rica, Panama, northern Colombia, 4 to 8 inches. Maximum total 12 inches. Significant life-threatening flash flooding and river flooding, along with mudslides along the higher terrain as we get inland. El Salvador, southern Nicaragua, 2 to 4 inches with isolated amounts of 8 inches. And then Jamaica, you will be on the very far outskirts, 1 to 3 inches of rainfall over the next 5 days. So now here's the latest in another language. I realize a lot of the followers may not speak English, so if you need to pause and read the latest update from the National Hurricane Center, you can, but I wanted to cater to that. Here is the latest satellite picture. Man, it is just unfortunately looking really impressive. This is what we been kind of warning about from this storm when it was just a tropical wave out in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We were well ahead of this system, pretty bullish from early on, talking about a major hurricane potential, with all the guidance leading to a rapidly developing hurricane as soon as it tapped into this very conducive environment. And we are seeing that unfold in a big way. It's now a hurricane, and you can see the outflow is just really impressive. And there's not much going to stop this system, unfortunately, as it propagates west-northwestward. We see the cold convective cloud tops, not just one, but we have twin convective cloud tops. That is the makings of an inner core trying to develop as we speak. And I do feel this will continue to strengthen, and it probably would not surprise me. This actually would be a major hurricane even later on this afternoon. So it's got great outflow to work with right now. So right now it's trying to develop an inner core. And once it develops an inner core, that's when it can really rapidly deepen and strengthen as it continues west-northwestward. And we still have 2 potentially full days before it makes landfall. So there's a lot of room to work with for continued strengthening, unfortunately, with this system. Here's the latest guidance from the intensity guidance of all the models, and more or less most of them put it up to a category 4 hurricane as it's approaching land. So we're talking a continually strengthening system all the way to landfall, because there's really nothing to stop this system for continue to strengthen. Here's the latest guidance from all the different models, and they pretty much all in agreement now. It's going to make pretty much a landfall right in the same exact areas, the Nicaragua and Honduras, that just got impacted from Iota just 2 weeks ago. There are subtle changes with the hurricane models that we've been talking about. They still deviate just slightly north of the official path, and we'll go over that. And if that happens, that obviously that would put it over water just a tad bit longer. And they are still a little stronger than what the official guidance is. Here is the latest hurricane model, the HWRF. Later on today, in this afternoon, I'm using this one because it's been very consistent. Now it's a 982. Later on this afternoon, it would drop it down to a 965 millibar hurricane. That would be right on the cusp of a major hurricane. We're talking just this later on tonight on Sunday. And as this propagates westward, Monday morning, so just 24 hours from now, we're talking it could be down to a 949 millibar hurricane as it's making its approach to Central America. Now let's take it out another frame. This would be Monday afternoon. It continues to drop this system down to a 945 millibar hurricane. This is when I do feel that it will reach category 4 caliber as it's making the approach, unfortunately, inland. So this will be having major catastrophic impacts to northern Nicaragua and northern Honduras as the system approaches with very torrential rains and 9 to 13 feet of a storm surge. Now let's take a look at the official track from the National Hurricane Center. I kind of zoomed in. So here, this is where it's expected to make landfall officially from the National Hurricane Center right around between midnight and 6 a.m. on Tuesday morning as a category 4 hurricane just north of Puerto Cabezas. And then I think Iota made landfall just south of the area. So this is pretty much identical to the same exact area that Iota made landfall just 2 weeks ago. And if this continues on that track, it would rapidly weaken to a category 1 hurricane as it's making landfall, bringing that massive storm surge in along with the very heavy torrential rains of inward from 20 to 30 inches along the northern coast. Here is the latest HWRF model. This is where the slight differences come into play. So here's the official track. Here's the hurricane model track. This would deviate just slightly north of the official track. Now, what that actually does, even though it's slight, it would actually keep the circulation a little bit more over water, and that would continue to the strengthening of the system well inland, as it would be, a lot of the circulation would be over water. Now, if we map this out, here's the latest HMON forecast. That's a little bit more bullish. So this model, both hurricane models have been above the intensity of the National Hurricane Center, and they're still implying that it would be still a category 4 hurricane, but it still makes it a little bit further north. And because that further north track, it would keep the circulation over water just a tad bit longer and therefore deepen it even further, but also making further impacts well inland as a stronger system, because a lot of the circulation would be over water still, keeping a lot of the circulation intact. So here's the simulated satellite picture, what it would look like on early Tuesday morning as it's making landfall. And this is just looks ominous. You can tell that just catastrophic damage for this area. So I'm really feeling for this area. I can only imagine what they're going to be dealing with from this storm. If this continues the track from Iota, this would propagate it further west, but keep the circulation over water just a tad bit longer, so the outflow would keep the intensity a little bit longer than it would on the south side, more or less over land. And if we take it out another frame, here is the latest rainfall from this system. You can see Jamaica is pretty much on the outskirts of the system, so you're pretty much the impacts are very minimal. And I would say as in Cayman Islands as well, but just south of there, you can see where these purples are, and pretty much the bullseye is going to be northern Honduras, going into Belize, going into Guatemala. These are the areas that are going to be under the gun of those very heavier rains, the storm surge and torrential rains of anywhere upwards of 20, approaching 25 inches plus. So would be just catastrophic damage for the area, but I will keep you informed of the latest from Iota. I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. I will be updating twice a day until this storm makes landfall to keep you informed of the latest so I can protect you before and after the storm.